Good afternoon and welcome to an update from BJ Kono, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build the Italeri horse and limber set. Hello and welcome to the first build of a kit on BJ Kono Modelling. So this is the first time I've done it, so hopefully it will come out okay. So I've shown the sprues off previously for the limbers for the 1/72 Italeri set. So I'm going to give you a very quick overview of these. But basically you get your 6 horses. There's 4 there on this sprue and there's 2 on the other sprue. They are the ones that we're going to be using to make the limber. Now, as I've previously shown in my last or my opening titles, the completed model, but this is one, as in true Blue Peter. This is one that I've made earlier. So this is what it's going to look like when I've finished. But I'm going to show you how I build it, and hopefully it will save you a bit of pain in the future moving forward, because they are quite a challenging kit. So let's take the bits off the sprue. So I've taken the bits off the sprue using a set of clippers, just like this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim these down. As you can see, I've just literally cut them all off the sprue. If you are probably for the first time of building this kit, what I would recommend that you do is keep these guys and the horses that have got stands separately, because they're part of the kit, but we're not going to be worrying too much about those for the moment. So you get six horses, like so. I've also I wouldn't worry too much about the ammunition or the cannonballs at this stage, so we'll get rid of those as well. Oops. And then what I probably do is you've got your two riders and such, your 2 drivers who go on the horses, and then get rid of that one. And now you've got your bits and pieces that you need. So it is soft plastic, so just be a bit careful on how you take it off the sprues. Like I said, I've used the clippers. You'll also need to get yourself quite a decent sharp knife, because some of this plastic can take a bit of time to cut off. So one thing we are missing, which I've just noticed, is some wheels. So we'll just take them off the sprues like so. So they just come off like so. That's good. Whoopsie. And then what we need to do is just give them a bit of a clean up using the hobby knife. Like that. And get the flash off again like that. So once we've got the flash off, what we need to do is get some plastic glue and stick the wheels on. So I'm using Humble glue for this, which is quite effective, and a little bit of blob on there. Now this can be quite interesting. Some of these go on really well, other times they don't. So you just need to push them onto the, and as you can see, they don't always go on straight away, and you've got to muck about with them a little bit as well. So they do go on because they are push fit, but I tend to put a bit of glue on them as well, just to, now bear in mind these are quite bendy, so you might occasionally have to get your knife in just to trim around, take off some of the inside edge just to get in there to push the wheel through. Look, see, it's a bit bendy there, but when we get there we go, he's popped on now. So that's your carriage part. Now what I've done is I've got a base to put the figure on, and this is a 50mm by 150, which is just about the right size for this wagon. If you wanted to add the cannon on as well, you'd need to get 50mm by 200mm. So that one's going to go there in a second. Now this is where the fun begins, because what you have to do is apply these horses and put them in the line ready to be attached to the actual limber. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean the horses up, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to start attaching them to the limber itself. Okay, so we're going to connect the first set of horses to the carriage section. Now to do that, we need to use these very spindly bits of harness, and they should go onto the ends. However, what I've found is they don't, not very well. So what I've had to do on one of the two guns is get the knife out and literally cut the, for a better word, the knobbly bits off. Which, you know, I only find on this part of the gun, on the actual harness of the main horse part, they go on really quite nicely. It's just this is now, either what you could do, I suppose, is you could get a drill and drill out the holes on the actual harness pieces, but to be perfectly honest, it's still quite a chore because the holes aren't that big. So now they should pop on just like that, and this is where the fun begins. So once they're on like that, you then have to stick them into that part there. Now what I found is the easiest thing to do is this: get the Yoo-hoo glue and find out which horse you're going to put on. Now I tend to use the ones without the packs at the very beginning, which is these two. Keep two with the sheepskins for the riders, and they can then just go in the middle. So pop a bit of glue on. I'm using Yoo-hoo for plastic cement or plastic cement glue, and then literally pop that one in there. Whoops, don't throw it across the room. The first one I actually made of these, I did nearly throw across the room because they are so fiddly, and you've just, when you think you've got it beaten, look, it does something like that. So once you've done that, next step is to pop it back onto the limber like so, and then what I did is I applied a fair little blob of glue. Now I appreciate it's just blobbed right out there, which is not very good, but still. So there we are. So that's one horse attached. Now this bit is the frustrating bit, because you've then got to put on the second horse. So again, we're going to put a blob of glue in there, a blob of glue in there, and what we're going to do is pop another one in there. So that one went in really easily, and we're going to get another one if I can pick it up. in there. And then what we're going to do is to repeat again and just pop them onto this part of the limber. Again, it's really fiddly because it's not hard plastic, so you're having to, there's no resistance, if you like. When you're trying to put a pin through one of the holes, there's no resistance, and it struggles to go through there, like so. But trying to avoid the other one popping out, which, as you can see, has popped out on that side. So what I'd recommend that you do is wait for one side to dry before attempting to do the other side. Now, me, in my haste to get this done, we're going to pop some glue on there, pop some glue on there, and then we're going to hold our breaths. Well, that one goes on there, and then what we do is just make sure the horses are straight. Now that's the first part of the limber done. Now at this stage, you could, if you wanted to, plump some glue with our guides. Just put a bit more, just to help the plastic melt to stick, and drop your guys on there. So at this point you could attach anything to it and just have like a horse and trap, and if you want to go for the full limber, we'll go on and do that in a second. So I'm going to wait for this to dry, and when I come back I'll be adding the other 4 horses to it. So now that that's dry, we're going to add the next part of the limber, which we'll do as a bit of a sub-assembly really. So we'll put that out the way, and we'll bring in these 4 horses. Now what we need to do is basically attach each horse to one of these points here, so it will look something like this. So as you can see, that's how it's going to look. Sorry, apologies. Like, oh, I've got a lame horse. That's going to be interesting when it comes to sticking him on. But that's the way they're going to go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to attach the harness points onto each limber. So to do that, let's use our just make sure they go on. Yep, so these go on quite nicely. It's only the first one that causes most problems. So what we need to do is, first of all, make sure we've got one of the limbers, or one of the horses, that we can attach one of the riders to, because the riders of the horses will be ow, sorry, the cat is just trying to get some attention by sticking his claws in my leg. So what I might do is, just whilst this is giving it a little bit of set time, ow, what I might do is, whilst it's giving a bit of little bit of chance to get a little bit tacky, I'm going to kick his arse out the door. Stand by. Go on, you bugger. Go on. So, apologies for that. He was clawing my legs. So, once you've put those bits of the harness on, we're going to glue the back of the harness and then all we're going to do is pop that one onto there, and that one onto there. Quite straightforward so far. Why? Because we've only done one. Next part is getting the second horse, and we're going to put this, do exactly the same that we did there. Oh dear. Now working in 172 is a bit different than 128 scale, 28mm scale, mainly because of the size difference, but also the quality of the plastic. Yes, you can get more figures on the table in 1/72, however, sometimes it just drives you mad. If this one works quite well and people were quite sort of pleased with the video, what I might do is make a hat ambulance on film, which will be quite entertainment, because the last two I've built, the language has been very, very colourful. So, and I've ended up sticking my fingers together on more than one occasion. So if you fancy a laugh, then please, you know, comment in the box that you'd like to see a bit of comedy gold, and we'll go from there. So that one there needs to nicely go onto there. So as you can see, this is where the fun begins. Now I know that you could, you know, do one, wait for it to dry, come back. I found that method to be a pain, because what you want to try and do is whilst the glue is still a bit tacky and not quite set, you can still maneuver it a little bit to get the limber in position, and that's what we need, or else you end up with bits and pieces all over the place. So as you can see, it's literally just popping out as we go here. So it just needs a gentle push to say, come on, get in there, you monkey. Now bearing in mind I did that one a minute ago and it's just keeps pushing out. So there we go. There's that one. Now I don't mind them running around at this stage like that, because that means I can still, when it comes to putting them onto the base itself, I can still maneuver them so it doesn't look like they're flying horses or reindeers. Now that's just popped out again, hasn't it? That's gonna cause me a bit of a nuisance. That is. There we go. Wonderful. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the other two, and then I'm going to come back and show you what we do with it next. Okay, so as you can see, what I've done is I've now connected all 4 horses, and then what we need to do is to reintroduce this part. So we now need to connect the 4 horses to the carriage unit, and to do that we're going to lift these very carefully onto our base, try and get them into some sort of order. Now there's a hook, I don't know if you can see, just down there. That's got to go onto there, and that bit has to connect in here. So what I do normally at this point is just pop that into there. He says. Now as you can see, it's easier. This might be an easier part of the process to do it before you attach the horses. So that's that one. And then what we need to do is literally connect point A to point B. And again, you can see how bendy the plastic is, which doesn't cause. So there we go. Now at the moment, oh dear, at the moment, this normally happens. So don't panic at this stage, because that happens, and it's quite a common issue where you'll just get everything connected up and everything will decide to pop off. As I mentioned previously, it's good to try and keep the glue just a little bit tacky when you do this, because you need to be able to move it about. Once it dries rock hard, you'll have flying reindeers and all sorts of nonsense, which we don't want at this stage of the game. So once you've done that, you've got your limber completed. So this is where I then go round with a tiny bit of super glue and just literally reinforce all the joints. Just like that. I'll put some in there as well. And then you need to make sure you've got no flying reindeer. So that was a flying reindeer. And that, see, that's just popped off there now. And I thought that was dry. Oh dear, happy days. And now they've all decided to be hit by cannon fire. So you can see how frustrating this is to build. So when you actually get it to the point where you can start dropping glue onto the feet of the horses, it's quite a satisfying point to get to, because you can then think, actually, bar this falling off the tabletop, I haven't got to stick any more of these together. Now the unfortunate thing is for this one, I've got 2 more to do after this. So, oh dear. This is one of the things that is so frustrating about this kit, that the pins don't always fit, and you end up with flying horses. I might have to come back to that. So you've got to try and again get the horses in a position that they look like they're actually pulling the gun limber, rather than trying to pull Santa's sleigh and start flying across the world, because that does drive me mad. Okay, that one is, so as you can see, I was bringing that plastic is, I think it's the super glue's just decided to make it. Let's get the yoo-hoo out again. Yoo-hoo. So you know where this is going, don't you? This is going to go and turn into a sticky mess, and it's going to end up as a bit of a comedy gold. Now you can see this side, this side has decided not to play as well. So I think what I might do is let that set a second before I try and, oh goodness me, try and get the, no, first of all I must apologise for this video, because it is turning into a bit of a nightmare. But you can see how fiddly this is. I think that's the point I was trying to make in the video. You really, you know, if you want to build one of these, it's great, and it's a good nice little kit, but you've got to have a lot of patience, and not be filming it. Whilst you were just waiting for that to catch a little bit, I'm gonna sort of give a few shout outs. So it's good to see Nathan Pancakey Payne back on the YouTube circuit with his Prussians and some Age of Sigmar. That was quite good. I caught up with that yesterday. Good to see some Mary Hinge has been doing some good stuff with Neapolionics as well, so I've been enjoying that. I've got a couple of videos from Gavin Booth to watch, one on a book review, and he's also reviewing some front rank Grenadiers. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the video at this point, just because it's not having it, and I'll come back when it's the rear limbers set. 3 hours later. To be honest, it was 20 minutes, but it did seem like an eternity. I finally got the horse to sit right. So what the final thing I do is I literally get some super glue, and each each hoof I put some super glue. And as you can see, I've already got a reindeer that, sorry, I got reindeers in the head now, who decided to, and then some blobs, some on the wheels. Now what I find with this is it just sticks the horse to the base nicely. And once I've done this, I shan't go near it until this completely dries now, because it is very, very fragile. But I find once you've got super glue on it, and it's at this stage of the proceedings, it does firm up quite well. And some on that wheel. And I'll let that dry, and then what I'll do is come back a bit later on and just add some more glue, super glue, just around the joints, just to make it nice and stable. So that's the instantly, don't knock it with your fingers, idiot boy. That's the completed limber. Thanks for watching this how-to guide. It's been a bit of a journey, and if you like, then please like the video or subscribe. If you like the tutorial, then please comment below, and maybe I'll do the hat ambulance next. So thanks for watching, guys, and stay safe.